hallelujah. Ha.
You're welcome back from the break we just had. I hope we're ready for the panelist section. I can't hear you. If we're ready, can we just make the sounds like this? If you're ready. Okay, before this section, we had the entrepreneurship talk. We had two entrepreneurship talks from Dimeji Falano and Okweyemi Awoyemi. Dimeji Falano is the co-founder / CEO Edverse, and he talked to us about starting a business, how to start a business, and I'm sure that we learned something and we penned things down. And Okweyemi Awoyemi also talked to us about expanding our digital line, how to bring our business in digitally, how to use digital means to improve ourselves and our businesses. And right about now, we're about to start the panelist section with professionals from the HR sector, from academics, the career sector, the industry, and we're going to learn a lot about how to start a career, how to learn your career path, how to know your career path. I for one want to learn. I for one want to know that. I mean, am I a musician? Am I into entertainment? How do I write a CV? How do I negotiate my salary? I mean, so that's what we're about to learn this afternoon, and we're about to start now. Our panelists are here. They are seated among us as we speak. And for that section, I won't be anchoring. And the anchor will soon step in. Soon. She will soon step in. But anyways, before we start, in the entrepreneurship talk, I'm very sure that some people would have thought of many ideas, thought of many things they wanted to do. I want to start a fashion line, but I don't know how to start it. It has been going round in my head. How do I start it? That it's not going to start like 1 year and then go down. Because I don't want to start a business that is going to go up and down. So how do I do it? I've been wondering, and I got my answer this morning, and I'm sure you all did, and you got your answers. If you got your answers, please just do like this. If you got your answers from the entrepreneurship talks this morning, just do like this. Oh, good, good. I like that. I like that. So right about now, I'm going to hand over to the moderator for the panelist section that is going to take place now in person of Nimi Imadua Kolam. A round of applause.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope we're having a swell time. For those of us that were here yesterday, I trust that we took a lot, and some people actually came online by 6 a.m. this morning. If you were online this morning, yeah. I hope you grabbed everything grabbable. Okay. So the beautiful thing about it is that we still have them. You can have, if you need, maybe you missed it, or you actually, you were online, but you didn't grab everything. You still have, you can meet Dimeji. I think since you dropped your emails, they will definitely send that. Okay, without wasting more time, our panelists are already here. So I would beckon on the... Yes, great. So please. Media.
Kemilawa, who also loves to be called the dynamic Kemilawa, is a brilliant lady with positive vibes and innovative ideas. A smart career professional, she particularly loves to provide solutions to issues around human resource management. Her experience in HR spans across recruitment and onboarding, learning and development, employee relations, talent management, to mention but a few. As a corporate trainer, she enjoys spending time training employees on new skills, strategy and systems relevant to their industry. Also, she loves to work with young people, helping them build a purposeful and rewarding career. She is passionate about service and volunteering. She is the lead coach and trainer at Lead Professionals Hub, a platform set to equip young professionals for personal and professional growth. Also, she serves as the governor at MOGI Global Leadership School, amongst her other service-oriented engagements.
Muyiwa Bamboshe is the founder and coordinator of Educational Advancement Center. Educational Advancement Center, EAC, is one of the earliest advanced level schools in Nigeria, founded in 1996. Educational Advancement Center, EAC, is a non-governmental organization specializing in the advancement of the SSCE or ordinary level graduating students who have a desire to pursue higher education in the university. The center has established an enviable reputation for excellence in its curricular and character building in students. Its teaching methods are born out of continuous research, adapted to suit the peculiar circumstances of the 20th century teenager, who is plagued with all sorts of disincentives and distractions. Moral issues are also taken care of, being aware of the possible frustration of a trained mind in an undisciplined body with an unnurtured spirit. Teaching is reinforced with seminar groups, regular examination practice, and periodic tutorials.
Emmanuel Mabel is a seasoned human resources professional with over 15 years experience in strategic and innovative people management, which involves translating business vision into HR initiatives that improve performance, profitability, growth, and employee engagement. She is presently the Human Resources Manager at American Christian Academy, a role she has handled for the last 13 years. In 2008, she moved to American Christian Academy, a K-12 international accredited school located in Ibadan, Nigeria, to serve as the HR manager. In this capacity, she kickstarted the HR unit, setting up required policies, procedures to drive the organization vision. She started her career with Grange School, one of the highly ranked British schools in Lagos, Nigeria, in 2005, and later joined Rosab International in 2007 as a human resource officer, where she grew to become the acting human resources manager within 2 years.
Her outstanding performance in managing all HR initiatives and providing the necessary HR business direction was pivotal during the expansion of the company operations with West Africa.
Okay, so why why I took that line, right? Well, just like every other average student, when I was in school, I wasn't so clear actually about what I wanted to do. Because for me, gaining admission into the university, I was actually a science student. So I was just thinking, okay, what are the courses? Medicine, engineering, and all of that. So I just picked, okay, computer science, because I didn't want to go into medicine. I didn't want to do medicine, and I didn't want to do engineering. So I felt, okay, computer science was it for me. And I studied computer science. It was at the point of, after my last paper actually, so I was having a discussion with my friend, and he said, okay, so what next? What do you want to do now? And reality dawned on me that I only went to school to study. And actually then I was one of the A students, like I was very good. So it then dawned on me that this is reality. It's not just about academics anymore. So I'm going into the world. What exactly do I want to do? So you know that sense of purpose that, okay, so what exactly do I want to do? So I told my friend then that I was going to look for jobs around customer service. And he laughed at me. He said, after studying computer science, you want to do customer service? Then I said, I just have this passion, like I like providing solution, like I just like helping people in the corporate world. So the only thing that came to mind as at that time was customer service roles and all of that. So he tried to convince me to take some other IT courses, but I just felt, well, I don't want to stress myself too much. Like, since I want to help people, I think customer service was just it. But at the end, after everything, because at that point, I haven't totally discovered myself. Like, going to school was just, okay, the academics part, let me just read the exam, let me just pass my exam. It wasn't, my choice of career wasn't born out of self-discovery. So it was at the point of when I got my first role, which was internship, because I went for software. I later got an internship role at a software development company. So I got the role as a software tester. And when the HR was asking me, because I actually didn't want to do that software. So when she was asking me, I just told her that I wanted a role in customer service. I actually told her that. And she said, why? I told her I would like to provide solution, help people. Then she made me see how profiling solution can also help software development, and then I enjoyed software testing. But after a while, I started discovering myself. I started understanding that I was more into the human capital development space. So then I got interested in human resources, and for me, I just went to research. I actually researched about the career path, and I saw that it actually fit in my purpose, what I actually desire. And then I had to take that route to then study take courses, training in human resources, and of course now I'm enjoying that part.
Great, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. Yes.
Okay, a bit similar with Kemi. So I read marine science.
Wow.
And while running through my program in university, I was asking myself questions about, I already knew I was good at what I was doing, but I knew this was not something I really wanted to continue doing. So it was that place of just trying to find out what I enjoyed doing, which was basically just speaking to people, motivating them. And I was researching what career like comes in line with that. So I knew it was human resources. So out of school, got a job at a school Grange. I was served with them. I was retained with them. I also enjoyed teaching. So still there, I was still doing some soul searching because I was thinking about, I really do love working with kids. I enjoyed the teaching experience, but I just felt this dissatisfaction that there was so much more. And because I had been speaking with a couple of friends about wanting to do something in human resources, I'd already picked up some forms to get me registered with CIPM then, but I just hadn't pursued that plan because I had a good job. So someone called me up, and like 2 years after we had served, and said, there's a HR opening in my office. Have you started going in that field? And I said, well, I really haven't started, but you could come try it out. So I think that was the push that finally got me into what I wanted to do. Wow. And I've been there since.
Awesome. Wow. Sister.
Well, I don't know whether I have a career path, because I've just been doing things, that come my way. Of course, I studied biochemistry as a first degree, and I did some postgraduate. I won't tell you when. But I was going to do my PhD. Then I had issues with my supervisor. He wanted me to change my topic, and I didn't want to change my topic. And, I just decided to go to UK. In those days, you didn't need a visa to go to UK. You just buy your ticket and go. There was a high commission in Ibadan here, in Lebanon. So I went to UK. I went to Bradford University. So I changed from biochemistry to agro-industrial projects. And I came back to Nigeria and started working with my father. My father had a big livestock company. So I rose, went for management training, and I became the deputy MD, then the MD. And then I had a quarrel with my father, so I left and decided to start my own business. Initially, I wanted to be a consultant, training, but I saw that people who were not ready to pay, you would do business plan, we used to call it feasibility study. And then they say, just this paper, you want us to pay so and so, So I said to myself, it's not easy to get people to pay you for consultancy. So I decided to do something for myself. It was also something to show that I had something to offer. Because how do you train people on what you have not done? Many times when I go to UI, once in a while, to give lectures on entrepreneurship, I just laugh. Here you have lecturers, you cannot resign, you cannot get on the street, and you are teaching people entrepreneurship. To me, it's a joke. You know, you must be able to prove what you tell people.
Yes.
So I started EAC. We started it with my wife. It was accidental because I was involved in contracting electrical. I wired. If you go to Oyo, the College of Education Special, it took the electricity into the place. If you go to Osun State, Ekoinde, Ato, we electrified the place. So I was doing contracts. But I got fed up because when you get a job, the money we carry to give to an official, we, the contractors, don't make it. Because the civil servants, they will tell you, look, you have to give us this amount. If you don't give them, you don't get the job. Or you get the job, you don't get your money. So I said, I'm not going to go on with this. Anyway, my first child finished from secondary school and she couldn't get admission into the university. I went everywhere, went to the north. I couldn't get her admission, and I found out that there was A levels. Okay, then there was a local one. It's still there, IGMD. So I took her to Kwara. That was the nearest place they were doing IGMD. They were not having it in Ibadan. They now have it in Polytechnic Ibadan. Actually, we brought it to the Polytechnic. So, so she was doing her IGMB, and then one boy started pursuing her, wanted to be her boyfriend, and she said she didn't want a boyfriend, and I got wind of it, that the boy was also in the cult. So I just took my car to Ilorin. I brought her back to Ibadan. So I said, okay, don't worry, we'll teach you. And so we started teaching her. I became her teacher, got two other people, somebody teach her in economics, somebody in geography. The rest is history. Okay, she passed the A levels, got into UI, second year, and right now she's a director in a school in UK herself. So that's how EAC started. And I've done a few funny things. That's what I'm saying. I don't know about whether I have a career path. I've done production. I've done processing. You know, I used to recycle batteries into lead, which we were exporting to where we had a customer in England. I did that for a while, and now I'm involved in farming, some poultry, fish.
Wow.
And I'm involved in real estate. If you are in Oluyole,
we all hear
some
that?
people may have heard of Cedar House.
So many calves.
If you ever heard of Cedar House, you know, you just put it together. So I don't know whether I have a career path.
But then we were still on that. Do you think so you would have done anything different in the process? You just told us how, you said, well, we don't know if it's a career path, but looking at how things have gone through the years, do you think there's anything you would have done differently?
Not really. You know, the thing I tell people is enjoy yourself. You see, if you want to be an entrepreneur, like I have been, you will punish yourself if you are doing something you don't love. See, most of the things that I do, I love them. I enjoy. I enjoy teaching, training. You know, like I was saying to them, I've had a 2-hour session this morning on leadership. So, you know, even if you don't pay me, I will do it. You know, when I was processing, I love to do it. We put school on air together, broadcasting TV, lessons, you know, it's all fun. So just pray that God can direct you to what you will do, enjoy, and make money from.
Please, let's not forget that last line. Just pray. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. But I also want to ask Mrs. Kemilawa at this time, do you think you would have done anything differently?
Of course, because like I mentioned the other time, my choice of career wasn't born out of self-discovery or self-awareness. Like, I just had to choose because I felt, well, that's the next thing to do. So maybe differently, I would have discovered myself, and it would have helped me because discovering myself earlier would have helped me to understand the path I want to take. So I'll be able to do things at the much more appropriate time. So probably some of the courses or some of the trainings I'm just taking now, I'd have taken them earlier, and maybe I would have grown bigger in my career path. But of course, no regrets. All of those experiences are part of what made me now. Thank you.
Yeah, so I want to ask another question. Earlier you said that self-discovery, for most of us, we're still trying to discover ourselves. We're seriously trying to discover ourselves. And there's something that you can't get back, time. So if you're trying to discover yourself, what do you do on the sideline while you're trying to discover yourself? What would you advise?
Okay, self-discovery, self. So that means you come to terms with yourself. So now you don't want to look at the way the society is trying to form you. Now you look inwards. That what are those inner desires you have as a person? So what are those inner traits you have as a person? So you are not trying to just align with what comes by. So you are doing things according to how you know God has originally formed you. Like, because God already put in those desires. Because even growing up, there are some nudgings you would have. But because of other factors, other things you're seeing, you may think, oh, that is not the right way. But it is now left for you to sit down. Why do I have these desires? Why am I unique? Why am I doing something? Why do I have some traits differently from other people? So just sit down, figure yourself, ask yourself question. How do I see myself? Who am I really? So by the time we begin to answer those questions, we would begin to come to self-discovery, because self-discovery actually, it never ends. It is always a process that continues throughout one's lifetime.
Thank you so much, Ma. So Mrs. Emmanuel, what would you have done differently? I really need to know.
What would I have done differently? Nothing.
Nothing.
Everything that I've gone through has been needful to be where I am. So he said something, somebody else said something, you pray God directs you. And even as believers, you know that the Bible says all things work together for good. So every experience, everything, I mean, I can tell my stories why I wouldn't have done anything differently. I got into Grange because I had some knowledge in biology. They needed a biology teacher. I came in as a youth corper, and they said, can you teach biology? Yeah, I read marine biology. I can definitely do that. So that itself was part of the process. So I see everything, the training even in school, going through what you have to go through, also created discipline, the kind of discipline you need to wherever you're going. So in retrospect, I don't see like maybe I should have gone into I feel like even that itself was, where I was needful to be where I started and to push me to where I am. So I think it all worked together for good.
So all things work together for good. Thank you very much, Ma. At this point, I know that there's so many times where, as human resource and personnel, there are times that there's an opening and you need to fill up a space, and you expect that people will send their CVs in, and they send and they send their CVs in. You're going through, screening through those CVs, and you're checking. There are some that you know you won't even go past the first page. Some you won't go past the first few lines. Some you would look at it and I'm like, okay, yes, but later you would. So what would you say the relevance of writing a very good CV? How is it as regards getting the job?
Very important. I was speaking to some people recently and I told them as a HR person, it takes me 1 minute to either throw your CV away or keep it. So if you think of the fact that you have 60 seconds to impress someone, to say if maybe they should shortlist you, then that tells you how important your resume is. It is the first way you market yourself to a job. So you see people who write resumes, there are no email addresses. Arrangement is everywhere. There's no organization. Tenses are used wrongly. I mean, I can go on. I mean, if I have 60 seconds, I don't even flip into the second page. I'm thinking of, for example, probably I have a role in IT. So I'm looking for somebody who's done something in that line. So the first thing I'm seeing is, I worked somewhere from 2018 to 2020. You're not telling me what you did there, what capacity you handled there. I don't know what this means. It doesn't apply to what I'm looking for. So that is how crucial your CV is. It's not, if you understand that as good as you are, you're only as good as that document, that paper, which is so unfair to judge you on. But that's the way the system is. So if you realize that I'm going to be judged by a piece of paper, I better take that piece of paper very seriously to at least get me an audience to speak about who I am. So you can never understate the importance of writing a proper CV.
So would you want to give us some insights on the points things that we should really pay attention to when writing our CVs?
Okay, so really, generally, I always advise that your CV shouldn't be more than 1 page. I know, for example, sometimes I think about myself, I have to write my CV. I have almost 20 years work experience and I want to state everything, but nobody's going to read all those details. So I must, first and foremost, in writing your CV, I think the crucial things to do is to state what you are good at doing. Now, many of us here may not have many years of experience. I was recently interviewing a lady. She's just out of school, just finished her youth service. But I work in a school, I'm looking for somebody who has worked with kids. And so she wrote something about, I will tell you what she was doing, but she called herself a child care. She created some terminology about what she had done and stated she handles kids. I mean, in 3-4 sentences, I felt like this CV is somebody who has worked with kids. Now, when meeting her, I'll talk about that in a moment. So when you talk about your CV, you first of all want to state what you have done. Now you're saying, well, I'm just out of school, I haven't done anything, but there are roles you've handled. For example, you're in church, you've handled the media. That's something. So can you creatively write something about that? Someone is she enjoys taking pictures, into digital imaging. So on your resume, you want to start off with, okay, beyond the name. In fact, I don't even look at your name. It's only when I shortlist and I realize, okay, I need to call this person. So, oh, this is David. Your name is important, definitely. But first thing is, who is David? What is David into? I mean, even beyond where David went to school. These days, I might be wrong. I mean, I'm not so much into if you finish with a 2-1 first class and all of that. I'm trying to see, because I know the prof is not here, the 2-1 first class and everything doesn't make any difference anymore in the workplace. So it's more or less like, where's this person been? So think of your journey as a young person. Where have you been involved in? And that's why I keep saying, young people, don't just be in school. I'm doing a 4-year program. During your holidays, get involved in other things. Find a summer job to do. Get busy in church. Go volunteer somewhere. Your parents have a job. Do something, because you need to put something in that resume. Just coming out with a first class is not enough reason for me to invite you. Maybe it's an academic environment. I'll be looking for that. But on a job, you're looking for someone who can multitask, who's been exposed to handling some roles. So those things you want to state on your CV, even before you start stating, I am a graduate of this, I went to secondary school here and all that. So I think when you write your CV, the roles you've handled are most important. So if it's like, okay, from 20 something to this, I handled this role, you just don't want to state it, okay, I worked at New Covenant Church. You want to say, I was responsible for media solutions, and in this capacity, I was able to handle this, ensuring that this, and that, because that itself is what stands out in shortlisting a CV for a job role. Because when you're interviewing for a job role, you have a position in mind, you have a personal, a people profile, okay, someone who's done something like this. So those 60 seconds you're looking at, has this person done what I'm looking for? Does this person have experience what I'm looking for? That's why things, responsibilities, I feel, should always come first. And then you can start adding your degrees. Like she said, I mean, we all read different things in school.
Exactly.
Or we are in different locations in our job roles.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ma. But before I know we're still HR, so I can't drop the ball yet. So, Ms. Kemilawa, I know you do a lot. It's not just for one company alone. You do a lot of consulting. When you stand in as a human resource person, you're looking at favoring both your the company that hired you and also looking at ensuring that the best candidate gets the job. So in most cases, like you said that you studied, and she also said that a few seconds ago, that you studied computer science and now you're doing HR. Does what I study in school, is it really relevant to my career path?
Okay, that's a very big and important question. Well, I'll say that what you actually studied in school is important to your career. It will help your career path. But the reality is, let's face it, these days, what people study in school are not what they are actually practicing. So, what is important now is not what you studied in school, like your degree. It is now what you can bring to the table, the skills you have. Because, like you said, standing in the middle of, okay, I want to favor the organization I'm working for, and I also want to hire the best. And so I have a position in mind, and I want the best candidate that can deliver value. So I am looking at a candidate from the perspective of, I want you to deliver solution. So I am not going to look at your course of study. I want to look at the skills you have acquired. How can you deliver on the job? So it is beyond just studying a particular course. So now, develop yourself, have some skills, because they are what your employer is after. They want people that want to deliver. They don't want to know whether you studied one course or whether you spent how many years in school. Do you have the requisite skill and experience? And she said something about CV writing the other time. Okay, when a job ad is posted out, there are requirements. So I tell people, don't just write CV, write targeted CV. If you're sure that you want to get the job, your goal is you want to get the job. So don't just write general CV. Many people do that, because I recruit for organizations as well. And people just write different kinds of CV. You don't have business with writing a general CV. You are targeting a particular job. Write a targeted CV, because you want to really show that this skill you are looking for, here I am, I can do it. That is it. And how do you write a targeted CV? First, understand the job you are even applying for. I see it that many people, they just, when they see a job ad, they just send their CV like, they will just forward, they keep forwarding the same CV. They don't even bother to read the requirements at all. And you are wondering that this person does not even have any business with this particular job role. So sit down before you forward yours, before you send any CV, sit down, ensure you understand the job role you are even applying for. People will just be forwarding CV and they will tell you, I've sent 100 CV, they did not call me. How will they call you? When you are just ask them that which job did you even apply for? They don't know. So understand the job you're applying for, understand the requirements. That will help you to now write a targeted CV showing the skill, the kind of person that they want to look for. That is how they will actually shortlist your CV to now call you for interview to know more about you. So it's not just about, I have applied for 200, because people will tell you different figures, but ask them, what are the kind of jobs you're applying for? They don't even know.
Well, thank you so much. Please, can we put our hands? Yes, because most times we feel that it was because I did not have the right connection. That was why they did not choose me. Not knowing that we did not do what we're supposed to do. So, sir, the next question is for you. But why, before I ask that question, if you have any question whatsoever that you want to ask any of the panelists, please write it down. For our online participants, please, you can put that on the comment section. I'm very sure that the media guys will take that and send them down. So just write the questions so that you don't forget later on. Thank you very much. Sir, I am known for a very long while, nothing less than 10 years, that EAC went to a height that is in this, okay, I think I would say 2020, it became something that the world saw as, okay, this is a necessity. That is online teaching. And it was something that was there for a very long time. I remember, I think back maybe in 2007 or was it 2006? I can't really remember. I went to the office there and I saw that someone was actually teaching and he was on TV. And I looked, I entered the reception. It was like, is this possible? Who will sit down and be watching it? But is that not what is happening now? So, sir, I just want you to expatiate on foresight. How, you know, I mean, as an entrepreneur, foresight, how the relevance of it in achieving purpose. Thank you, sir.
That's a very difficult question. Foresight. Even present sight we don't have. Yeah. Okay, before I answer, if you permit me, I want to say something. If you are a Christian, don't just take any step. If you are really a Christian, don't just take any step. And if you take a step, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. Be faithful in anything, even in a wrong career. I don't believe in accidents for a child of God. The Bible says the steps of the righteous are ordered. See what Joseph went through. None of it was a coincidence. He was gathering experience. My sister that did the computer studies before going into HR, I'm sure there are things you acquired in those days that make you you. You know, it's good to read a book called Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. He says we all have a shape. He just used that acrostic, a shape. S, spiritual gifting. My spiritual gifting is different from yours. Personality. We have different personalities. All right? Then ability. S, spiritual. H, heart. You have a heart for different things. One day we were going to church. A woman was on an Okada with a baby behind her. And I looked at them. And I was wondering, I said, these people with the Okada driver in the rain. And my wife said, poor baby, poor baby. We have different hearts. She was touched by the baby. I was touched by the whole scenario. Are you following me? We are different people. 2, 3 people will see the same thing. What will matter to me is not what will matter to you. And And what matters to you is what God has wired you for. That's your age. Abilities. You can do things better than other people. Some people are good in figures, some are good in words, some are good in pictures, some are good in spoken word. Are you following me? These are pointing towards your career or your purpose. I go beyond career. I take it as purpose. Because when it's all over, when we have worked and made money, one day we'll stand before God. And then you will know whether what you have done is what you were supposed to do. Then P, personality. E, experience. The family you were born is not a coincidence. The school you went is not a coincidence. It's when you go forward that you realize. Oh. And they said, Joseph remembered his dreams. You will then remember. So when a question comes up, you go put your hand into your pocket of experience. So as an HR person, you will speak differently. Let me tell you, up till today, yesterday, my biochemistry, I still use it. I still use it. In ESC, so I said, look, we do this research. We're working on the material, and I'll come and I'll say something. I say, how did you know that? Of course, I studied biochemistry. Then I was talking to somebody with a poultry farm, has a problem, this and how did you know that? Of course, my father had a poultry farm. All right, so gather all these things. Jesus said, if you are not faithful in that which is another's, who will give you that which is your own? We think of ownership in terms of financial ownership. No. If you are not faithful in another career, you will not get to your own career. So just be faithful. Anything you are doing, do it to the best of your ability. Now, the question you gave to me, I forgot to. Please remind me. You remember?
How you had foresight.
Foresight. Now, let me say this. It is usually a coincidence. You have to teach what I call renewed thinking. In fact, it's a ministry, renewed thinking. I'm just doing a series on renewing your mind outside the box. The man who discovered incubators, which they now use in hospitals for babies, he was an obstetrician, he to a zoo. When he got to the zoo, he saw an incubator where they were hatching chicks. And then, we can use this, we can use this for babies. The mortality for babies then was 20%. But for premature babies, it was more than 50% that was dying. So he saw that thing and he took it into what he was familiar. So just not be boxed down. Honestly, we don't know where we're going. I told you the story of ESC. When you talk of the issue of video, how did we get into it? We did some tests. We found that the problem of many students was coming from teachers. And so we said, how can we get around teachers to get to children? We did text, we did e-learning like books. They won't read it. The children of nowadays don't want to read. Okay? We called it Jump Mobile. Then we stumbled on video. Honestly, it wasn't like it was planned. Let's just try this. And we tried it. And it was a hit. We were broadcasting to Africa, to the continent of Africa by satellite. We were getting responses from Zambia, from Kenya, from everywhere. Sierra Leone, we love this. Can you please do this? Can you do that for us? And so on. So, you see, if you are led by God, He would lead you into things. When the Bible says things that ears have not heard, that eyes have not seen, God has those things in store. All you need to do is be yielded. But many of the times we are fastidious. We set up ourselves. We make up our mind. This is what I'm going to do. There's a value in it, but there's also a need to be sensitive to God. Look, I've done stuff. One day, sorry, I tell stories. One day, a company MD came to me and said, we have a problem. If you go to Oshodi in Lagos, POC gases. He said, we are being harassed by Loma. We shouldn't throw away this sludge. He said, what can we do? I said, give me time. As a Christian, believe you can do anything. Are you following me? I said, give me time. He says, okay, come and carry the thing away. I said, I'm coming. So they paid me money for 2 trailers. Come and carry. I was looking for cheap trailers. Then they called me. They said, look, we have loaded them on our trailers. They are coming to Ibadan. Now, I brought that stuff down. It was from cash. If you go down any panel, Peter, you see the white stuff there. It's calcium hydroxide. Okay? When they make acetylene with calcium carbide, the residue is calcium hydroxide. My chemistry. I dried it, I ground it, I took it to Excite. They tested it, they said this is very good stuff. I said, yeah, it's expensive. So I was paid to carry it. I didn't carry it. They carried it to me. I dried it, ground it, I gave it to people, and I sold it. For many years, honestly, I was comfortable on it. Just be yielded. When I see something strange, that I talked about Cedar House, the estate in Oluyole, the MD of the bank came and said, Pastor, he said, do you want to buy land in Oluyole? I said, what for? Buy land. He said, we want to sell a land. I said, how big is the land? He said, 8 acres. I said, 8 acres. How much? He said, 120 million. I said, where do you... He said, wait. He said, but if you are interested, we can lend you the money to buy the land. I said, tell me. And we started talking. He said, if you deposit 10 million, we will allow you to move in. Then my head started calculating. I went to God. I said, what do we do? So we planned. We didn't have the 10 million. I said, all I do is this. I tell people that know me, or I brought some young guys. Let's look for 3 or 4 people. Let's cut the land. 8 plots gave us 40 something, 8 acres, 40 something plots. All right? I said, let's sell cheap. Let's make it 3 million. All right? We quickly got 4 people who said they were coming. 3 dropped the money. We had the money, 10 million. I just paid the 10 million. He said, you can move in. You know what? We got a caterpillar to come and, because people, they were not sure. Come and bulldoze this place, and then we stood there. So they will see us. Nobody is chasing us. So bring your money. You can buy the land. By the time they turned up, sorry, it is no more 3.5. It's now 5 million. Play. Somebody came with his money, this and that. Then another one, sorry, it's no more 5 million. It's now 8 million. Let me tell you, the last plot that was sold there was sold for 30 million. 30 million. It's all a pace of 6-7 years. If we kid ourselves, we say we are wise. Are you following me? Be foolish. Just yield yourself to God's Spirit. Don't make up your mind. If I said, no, I can't do this, or yes, I want to do this, I won't get to anywhere. Are you following me? Just listen to the inner prompting. If he says, in fact, I ask myself, why did this person come to me? I'm asking myself, why? All things work together for good. Are you following me? No accident. So many people miss opportunities because they think they have to work it out. Just yield yourself to God. All right? I think
Thank you so much, sir. Can we put our hands together, please? Wow. What this is telling me is that we don't take time to look at the opportunities around us. It means that for some of us, we have actually self-sabotaged our growth because we felt we couldn't do things. So if there is nothing you take from this, be yielded, because all things work together for good to those that do what? Love God and are called according to his purpose. Do we have questions at this time? Do we have questions? Okay. Does anybody have a question? No? None yet. Okay, let's move on. Okay, someone asked this question earlier, and I wanted to. It's HR people. So I have been working in a particular place for the past 2 years. I know I am good at what I do. I am very, very effective, efficient, proactive. Should I call more? Yes. But I feel that the money that I'm receiving is not doing something good. How do I let my MD or the HR or whoever know that I need a raise?
Okay, so you're working for 2 years and you feel you're performing. So for me, that question is tricky because there's so many parameters that haven't been addressed. So first and foremost, what's the policy like in that organization? So that's the first question you should be asking yourself. What happens where I am? The other colleagues, do people get promotions every year, every 2 years? Is that happening for others? So if that's happening and it's established, and there's a reason why you're not getting your promotion, the next question to ask yourself, which I believe there should have been some performance discussion going on in the last 2 years, appraisals. So you're asking yourself, is there anything my supervisor or somebody I'm working under has been speaking to me about that maybe I haven't performed in? So if you've established that, well, there's nothing. I've been meeting all those parameters that have been required of me. Then the next thing is you should be bold enough to walk up to, first and foremost, depending on whatever structures you have there. In some organizations, it might even be your direct boss. In some organizations, it's directly to HR. So you should be able to walk up and have that conversation to say, and there's a very polite way of doing it. I just want to find out if there's something I'm not doing right. I'm on this job. I feel I have done all what is required of me, and I am not exactly satisfied with what I'm being paid. I've had a couple of people walk up to me to have those conversations, and I still answer those questions. So it's not disrespectful. It's not wrong to ask those questions because it's good to know. So it's either there's something you're supposed to do that you haven't done, and then it also helps you make informed decisions as an individual. So if you're not able to get a satisfactory answer, which is not something that shows maybe you're not doing that, you want to ask yourself questions like, because you may find out that it may say to you, oh, actually the next role, there are these 1 or 2 requirements needed to grow there. So, okay, that's it. I'll go work on that. Or you need to improve on your education. That's why we can move you there. At least it helps you make that informed decision. But to sit down and to be grumbling and not to ask questions is kind of, doesn't make sense.
All right. To add to what she already said. So now, how did you know that, okay, you are performing? So are you the one that actually judged yourself? But let's leave that. Okay, so if you're actually performing on the job, you're sure of performing on the job. Now I tell people this. You should know how, as an employee, beyond just doing your job well, you should also know how to quantify your job. And when I say quantify your job, you should be able, because when talks like this arise, because it's okay for you to actually meet your line manager or whoever it is to actually have this discussion, but it will still now boil down to what has been your impact over time. Because what matters to the owner of the business or the entrepreneur is the bottom line. So now you as a person that you are now bringing this discussion to the table, you should know how to quantify your job. Like you should make them, help them see your impact on the job. For example, personally, I've had that discussion, and my manager said, "You are a trainer now. You people are you are the ones spending the organization's money. Like you just be calling for training and we'll be spending money. So how do you want us to? And now you are requesting for a raise." And I said, "Okay." I itemized all the trainings we've done, and I showed the impact on the employee that if we did not have this training, look at how much we are going to lose. So by having this training, we're able to save, and we're able to add more. So what I'm saying exactly is, know how to quantify your job. Let's say you're working even as a customer service representative. You should be able to say that I have done X, Y, Z. Like I have been able to resolve so inquiries that has resulted to this. Help them see the bottom line. Nobody will see the bottom line for you. And that is what the business owner is after. The business owner is not after you are coming to work 8 a.m. The business owner is not after I spend overtime. What impact are you making? What's bottom line? So you as an employee, have a documentation. Like, have it for yourself, for your own good, though. It's not for anybody. Just have it, itemize it. Are there other projects that you've worked on, notable projects? Have them handy. Because when you want to have this discussion, it's not by mouth, though. The person you are going to meet is ready for you. So you to be ready for them. And it's not by fight, it's not gra. But just show them the impact you've made over time. That is what will actually justify your raise. Then another thing that people do, they are good at their job, but they don't really showcase themselves. And this happens especially when you are working in a big organization where maybe the decision maker is not actually seeing you. So don't always hide behind. Let them know you are doing a great job. Let them know. Like own whatever you are doing. Don't hide behind the door and say, "Oh, you want to be on." It's good to be humble, but there are some things that are not humility. Some things are actually not humility, they are stupidity. Like when you are supposed to speak up for yourself and you are hiding. You are in the meeting and you can't even talk. You contributed to a project and you can't even own whatever you've done. And you are coming that you want your salary to be raised. How? What have you done? So in essence, what I'm saying is, don't just go to ask for raise. Make sure you have proof that you can actually show your impact over time. Thank you.
I want to add something, if you don't mind, excuse me. Many times in just trying to see why people get stuck, people hit this bandwidth in salaries, just thinking through it. Many people are in that phase in the organization because they haven't found the way, just to add a bit to what Kemi has said, to add extra value to the positions they've given to them. So one of the things I would also want to say, for you to even be stuck, a couple of things now, I mean, I'm just bringing it down to real life. I know there's this global economic thing going on since the lockdown, so many organizations are going through that struggle of making enough money for remunerations. But actually, one of the things you also need to look at is to say, okay, beyond what I've been called to do, what extra do I bring to the table? Because it's the extra that even before you speak about, like Kemi talks about, before you even speak, the owners are willing to add more to you. For example, I can cite one example. Mr. Muyiwa mentioned, whatever you find doing, do it with all your heart. So I remember when I served, where I served, they started me off then at a salary of 10,000 naira. That's the allowance minus the NYSC thing you get. But even then as teaching, I actually wasn't working because I wanted one pay. I was taking whatever responsibility I was doing, and I was just giving my very best, thinking of extra things to do. I was a youth corp. I was organizing field trips to emphasize what I was teaching in biology, and just doing all of that. And one day, I'm just on the corridor, and the principal walks past me and says, "I'm going to increase your money to this amount of money." I didn't ask for it. It was what I had put down without even asking that made him increase it. And then, even before the youth service program was over, he walked to our, I mean, these conversations happen, you're walking past and says, "Do you want to stay after your youth service program? We'll be willing to offer you a job." Now, if what you bring to the table stands out. You're not just, okay, I've been told to do A, and all you do is A. That doesn't earn you an extra salary. They'll pay you for doing A. But if you've been told to do A, but you take the A, you write it in cursive, you put some design to it, you make it stand out, you put it there, there is no employer, because you talked about bottom line. Every business owner is looking for somebody that brings value beyond what has been added. So when you get to yourself that you are being stuck on a pay, you should begin to think of, she talked about showcasing yourself. How can I take what I'm told to do, add some value to it, showcase it in a better way? Do be the very best and bring in the extra, so that that itself, even before you speak, because I'm HR, there are people you have on board that you know you cannot afford to lose them, because they are so important to the organization. You don't even wait for those people to ask for a paycheck, a pay increase. You would be conscious, because you don't want them to start looking out. So make yourself that invaluable asset in your organization. And with that, the salary would come for you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have some questions here already. But I have one last question from my end before we go to all the other questions. In this age that we're in now, everything is digital, technological advancements, going like as far as the speed of light is. What would you say? I think, okay, let me infuse them, two questions in one. One is the Nigerian curriculum? I saw that look. You know, the Nigerian curriculum, I would say, fine, we could say university, but let's look at from the foundation. Is the Nigerian curriculum really looking at the future worldwide in that platform? Then the other question is this: if it's not, what would be your advice for those of us that cannot change the Nigerian curriculum? What can we do to meet up? A lot of us desire to go abroad. How do we, stay at par with our, other competitors, if I have to use that word, over there? So I noticed that. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I've been asked this question so many times in different fora. Personally, I don't think the problem is with the curriculum. The problem is with the assessment. The curriculum in Nigeria is so difficult, it's so wide, but the assessment is faulty. We're not preparing people for today. If it's a competitive vacancy, you find it difficult to find Nigerians that are employable. We handle the selection for TESCOM in Oyo State. There were over 70,000 applicants. We set the questions. Less than 7,000 got over 50%. Less than 10%. But 6,000 something that got more than 50%. Now, and those were even straightforward questions. There's what we call Bloom's taxonomy, if you study education. There's a hierarchy of learning. The lowest level is knowledge. You know this, you know that. Oh, that's one of the things we do. You test knowledge by recall. Can you remember who did this? Who did that? The next level of learning is understanding. There are things we know that we don't understand. You know osmosis, but do you really understand it? You say it's a movement of particles from one region to another region through a permeable membrane. Do you understand it? When you understand, you can explain. The next level is application. So what's the relevance? We learn stuff, we don't think of how they are used. So we can't solve any problem. The next level is analysis. You see a problem. You see there are pros and cons for everything. You see, Nigeria is a place where even charlatans, they prefer suggestions. People who should keep their mouth shut. When footballers are playing, Green Eagles, somebody doesn't play well, I keep my mouth shut because I can't play. I did not play for my school, my secondary school. I was not in the team. I was not in the UI team. Then somebody's playing for Nigeria. I say, this one. Why did the coach put that? Everybody is a qualified coach. So we don't know that every suggestion has good parts and wrong sides. It is all part of analysis, then evaluation. When you look at the pro, you look at the con, you now say, it is better to do this. I'm saying the curriculum is not the problem. Because the curriculum will say, look at this, respiration. But what about respiration? One time I was in Cambridge for a Cambridge school conference. And they were saying that there are some questions they don't expect the students to have an answer. They don't expect them to have an answer. But we want to see them, how they flounder intelligently. You flounder intelligently. So you don't know something, but how do you react when you don't know something? They said because in life, we don't know the problem. You just know that your product is not selling. You don't know whether it's the price, or it's the quality, or it's the promotion, or it's your distribution. Just know you are not selling. So the job is to find out why you are not selling. Now, where I'm going is this. Recently, I was asked by the Center for Entrepreneurship in UI. They were going to have a first lecture. They invited me to give the lecture. And I said, you cannot teach anybody entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, the study, is for entrepreneurs. You must first be an entrepreneur. Nobody can teach you to be an entrepreneur. It is, let me use Yoruba, it's abinibi. It's the way you react to things. So, in a nutshell, we are not preparing people for today. Most Nigerian graduates are not employable. They are not employable. For people in HR, it's an issue. You look at, one day I was on a panel, interview panel. They wanted to be purchasing officers. These guys have BSc economics. They had been shortlisted. I said, please, what do you think is reorder level? You want to be purchasing manager. You did economics. What do you think is reorder level? Even listening to me, it should make sense to you. It is the level at which you order for another one. They didn't teach us. They didn't teach us. I said, okay, let me help you. What is economic order quantity? What does that suggest? We were on strike. This and that. I kept quiet. The next person came in. I said, I'll be fair to you. What is the other level? Well, yes, sir, they didn't teach us. They didn't teach us. But the wrong intelligence that we have, The following day, I woke up in my hotel. They said somebody wanted to see me. I said, who knows me? This was in Ekoma. I said, who knows me here? So I went there and I saw the young man. I think your face is familiar. He said, yes. You had the interview yesterday. He said, yes. So he said, I came to apologize that I messed up. I said, thank you. All right. He said, I need the job, sir. I need the job. I said, you have the effrontery to trace me and come and meet me. You couldn't answer economic order quantity. You couldn't answer the other level. And you have a BS in economics. I said, you have just disqualified yourself. I will be doing a disservice to the owner of the business if I say they should employ you. Now, going to the future, the skills needed, the competencies needed in the future, we are not having them. It starts from being an independent learner. Parents are one of the biggest problems. They will get lesson teacher for their children. Come and teach them this one. Even in university, I've seen parents going around for that. In university, when are they going to be on their own? In this world, nobody knows the problem. See the way Corona came, coronavirus. Nobody knows the problem. The world needs people who can solve problems that their teachers didn't know, that their parents didn't know, that their colleagues don't know. That's what can make you stand out. You must have a can-do attitude. Look, the internet is there. What I expect, if you have a problem, just Google it. Google it. Nobody's going to teach anybody for tomorrow. Just be ready to teach yourself. That's it.
Thank you so very much, sir. God bless you, sir. So let's work on ourselves. I'm going to go through this. Wow, there are more questions. Oh, more questions coming up. There's some questions here that, okay, let's do it this way. I will say the question, and anybody that would want to answer, just please feel free. Someone said, in this age, is success tied to money? I think it's a yes or no question. Is success tied to money?
Well, success is not tied to money. I know, well, everyone wants to make money, but that's not where it starts from. Success is more about the impact you make. And the thing is, there's no how you will make impact that eventually you will not make money. But it's just that people want to chase after money first. And I used to say something that people don't want to learn, but they want to earn. So you want to be successful. You want to now think, okay, success is about money. You want to chase money first. And you are leaving what you should have done earlier. Learn, as in work on yourself first. So that be first a person of impact, so that you can deliver impact, because you can't give what you don't have. So work on yourself, learn, equip yourself with relevant skills, relevant experience that is needed for you to actually give back value, give back impact. And there's no how you will do these things and money will not eventually come at the end. But just that most people don't want to go through the process. They think money is the first thing. Money is not the first thing.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, when you interview fresh graduates, ask them, so what's your salary expectation? I hear, I want to earn 200,000 naira. Not that 200,000 is too much in the Nigerian economy, but you just wonder that where have you begun your journey? And like Hemi said, it's really this drive that we don't want to make the sacrifice to grow. And there's a sacrifice to grow. I shared with a couple of people my journey. So I read marine science, marine biology then. And here was I working in a school. Now I had to make a career choice. it was a difficult decision to make because I was working in a very good place. So I got this call and I went in there for the interview. I have wished to go into HR. The first thing the HR manager says to me is that, what have you done in HR? Because I was working in a school. And that hit me, and I said, nothing. So why are you here? Just like she talked about targeted CVs.
Yeah.
I said, well, I want to do something in HR. And she says, well, you don't show that you have made any desire, any progress in that regard. So I walked away from that interview. Of course, I felt I wasn't successful. But as I walked out of that interview, the next day I went to register for my HR certification exam because I realized that if I want to get there, I have to make those steps. I mean, God being willing, I was still called back for the second stage and the final stage, and I was hired. But by the time I was being hired, I'd already started making calls. And now, prior to resuming, I had to work 1 month. I went to work with a HR consultant for 1 month without pay. I told him I want to come learn this. I remember everyone in my house was speaking to me and saying, why are you going to work during the summer? Because I was working in a school. And nobody's paying you for your transportation. I was paying the sacrifice. That was one. Number two, the job I was being offered as HR offer was half the pay I was getting in the school that retained me. In fact, everybody in my family said, you are being foolish. How would you leave this nice British school with all they are paying you? I was being scheduled for a training outside Nigeria. I loved what I was doing. But it was time I was asking myself the questions as a lady that, if I don't make the tough calls for my career now, it will be difficult as life moves on. You have kids, the other responsibilities. So I was ready. Now, I wasn't looking about the money. I was saying, this is the time to take. So I took a pay cut where I was earning less than what I was earning before. So many benefits I cut short. It was a tough season of my life. I was writing my certification exams with less pay, but I'd saved up money for my previous place. And there were times when I would ask myself the question that, I hope I didn't make a mistake in the process. But the truth about success comes when you maintain doing what you're doing. Within 2 years, where I started as a HR officer, I was already acting. In 2 years, I became the acting HR manager. I was going to their Ghana operations, going to recruit in Sierra Leone, going to recruit in Liberia. Within 2 years, the same salary. In 1 year, the same salary that I started at half had already been tripled because there was performance. So if you start off life thinking about money, the money wouldn't come. Like she said, you pay the sacrifice here. And as young people, there's a reason why the Bible says it is good for a man to bear the yoke while he's young. Because the responsibilities sometimes, not in every case, might be lighter then. You're probably not married with children that are required responsibilities. I know there are family responsibilities, but nobody can kill you if you don't have the money. So pay the sacrifice then to get where you want to be. And with time, the money will come. Let everyone understand around you that, see, I am going to get there. The money will come. Let me do the diligent work. And with time, the same money that you finally are looking for will come because you have built yourself to that level.
Exactly. Thank you very, very much. I understand that we have some people that have some questions, apart from the ones that we have here. Does anybody? Anyone? Okay. That's okay, two. Okay, please. Can we get them a mic? Okay. Yes, please introduce yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the talk. Really insightful. I just like to ask if you think you have so many, if you are multi-talented or gifted, and you want to really start a career, how do you really go about doing it? For instance, if you like to write or like to lecture or like to give a talk on a public occasion, how do you now maneuver that and form that into a business or a platform for yourself? And how do you take the plunge? Like they say that courage is the most important virtue. Some say that for you to be able to do anything, you have to have enough courage to launch out. So from your own previous experiences, how have you been able to dive into the ocean and then start being like an HR, like an entrepreneur, what are the courageous things you have to do, the kickstart, the initial, the first thing you have to do to be able to be in this position that you are all in now? I hope I'm clear.
Okay, thank you. Did you get him?
Okay, if I get you correctly, you're asking how you can, what are those things you need to do to launch out on your own? Is that what you asked?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, for instance, for me, I can say that, okay, I'll use myself as a personal example. I studied in the UK and then I came to Nigeria for personal reasons. So then I couldn't, after my NYSC, I couldn't get the job I wanted. So I decided to go for studies. So I studied UI, usage. So, but I noticed that in Nigeria, many people who can't get the job that they want or even is paid a job for themselves, they tend to go for further studies. They might say, okay, let me my master's, and after master's, they might say that, well, nothing is coming up now, so let me go for my PhD. So they keep on learning. So when and after learning, we know that practically we have to start a family. For instance, we have to, you know, start having kids, then making a living. So when do you take that plunge that, okay, this is the time the studies have to end, I have to be a realist, I have to be able to now say that, okay, this is the time for me to now launch out and then be courageous. That's where the courage comes in. That, okay, I think I've done a lot of studies now, and now I have to go into the job market and then be a butterfly and fly for myself. I hope I'm still clear,
Yes.
Sha.
Mr. Muyiwa is making some comments here. I mean, the when question is a tricky one. That's like, when is when? The when is, everyone has a journey, okay? So what I think is you asking yourself that question. I shared my example of when I made that tough call. I had a job, I was doing well, everything on my job was fine, but I was asking myself those questions where, okay, this job doing, for example, I can be very realistic. So in 2005, you're working in a school that pays you about 75,000 naira. That was what bankers were not even earning. So people are asking, what exactly are you looking for again? But I'm asking myself the question that I'm thinking, can I keep doing this? Do I enjoy it? Is this where I want to be all my life? You're asking yourself those questions. And then I'm telling myself, now, everybody was saying, why don't you wait? Like you said, you want to do HR, stay here, work here, do masters, then you get a job in HR eventually. But I have this offer that is entry level, and they were offering me 30,000 naira, entry level HR officer. So the when to make that call, like for me also, it was also like, Samuel talked about praying. It was also in a place of prayer, like, it wasn't easy. It's not like I don't like money too. Well, everybody likes money. Who doesn't like the good life? But in the place of prayer and the place of seeking after God, I felt that urge that it was time to move. And then the human part of thinking through that decision as a woman was, if I do not make this career change now, it might not be easy as life moves on. So there's a place of prayer. It wasn't easy. In fact, I remember actually when everybody says what you're doing is wrong, but you feel, well, God has told me to take this step. And then I made that step. So when you should stop adding certifications and step out into the job market is something that is you to sit down with God and ask yourself that question. But one thing I would advise is that you make those decisions early in life as much as possible. It's easier to make those calls earlier in life to be able to say, I better do this now so that I can quickly attain. Because when you finally step out of the certifications, you probably have to start building the career from lower level and grow. So make those decisions early. When is dependent on you and God, and you just talking through yourself and deciding when you want to do that. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yes. Okay.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Damisola. My question is not a question per se, but to Mrs. Emmanuel. You were going to talk about the lady you met. I want to know if she actually overpackaged herself or she just packaged herself normally.
Thank you. Actually, remember I didn't finish that line of talk. But let me say something about that lady has worked as a nanny. That was what she was doing. She's finished from school. Somebody in her church had a little girl. So she goes to their house, lives with them during the week, and teaches the girl after school. So she didn't. She called herself child care service with some other word. I was looking for somebody that works with kids. And by the time I had a conversation with her, I actually realized what she was doing was being a nanny to a 5-year-old girl. But she had so redefined that. And you would say, I'm a graduate. So the whole conversation was, so how did this happen? Well, there's a lady in church. She needed somebody to be staying with her kids. I did that. But she was able to package herself, package that role into her CV. That for me sounded like she had been doing something that was beyond that role. And I needed somebody that needed experience working with kids. So anything you do in church, at home, in your parents' shop, anything, you can always package it based, like Kemi talked about, targeted CV, based on the job role. I wasn't looking for a teacher. I just wanted somebody that would assist in the room and at least had some experience working with kids. She works with one child. And she walked me through what she does, and that was all we needed, and that was fine for the role.
Thank you. Some of the questions here have actually been answered, but I will just go through them for the purpose of going through this question. Sir, our Nigeria academic curriculum is it, sir, on our Nigerian academic curriculum, is it enough to be relevant for the world of work? Is it enough to be relevant for the world of work? I think he has already answered that question. He said most Nigerian graduates are not employable. Are we the problem or the system? I think he has answered that question earlier, if you agree with me.
I wanted to add something about employability. Recruitment, like you said, is one of my, personally, as HR, is one of the most difficult things to do because, like you said, you interview 70,000 and you have less than 6,000. But one of the things I would say, I'm also a product of the Nigerian curriculum system, is the fact that apart from the curriculum challenges, there is an issue where you have to work on yourself. Everything he said, the internet is there, you build yourself. So some of the problems I also see with graduates is that nobody is trying to work on themselves. You're just in school, like as if going to school, well, I've finished university was all that is needed. So we can't change the curriculum. We can't change where we are, but you can choose to be different. I have someone who is a graduate. He's not even out of school, but I'm already offering him a job to say, when you're done, we'll give you a job. And he's a product of UI, the same Nigerian curriculum, but he has so taken what he is learning. He's studying music and has taken music just from being in church, doing so many things. And I'm already ready to hire him. I'm talking to him and saying, please, when are you finishing? We want to give you a job. And it's the same product of the same curriculum. So we have a responsibility on working on ourselves too.
Yes. Yes, please.
You see, I think the best lesson to take away from here is that you are to learn anywhere you are. As a matter of fact, one of the philosophies of Cambridge is to make the students independent learners. That once you see a subject, you can equip yourself on it. Some years ago, a story. My eldest granddaughter was with me, and we were watching telly. And we were watching CNN, you know, when they talk about the weather. In London, in New York, you know, the person will not look at it. Will just be pointing. And so she said, Grandpa, he's not looking. How does he know where it is? Now, this is how learning should be. Okay? We go to school and they tell them it is this, it is that. But when she asked me, I said, what is happening? There's really nothing in the studio. If you ask the editors, video editors, they know what they call chroma key. I said what they use is called chroma key. That they use chroma key to put those things there. But as he's sitting or standing in the studio, he's seeing it in front. So when he put his hand like this, he's seeing London, he's seeing New York. He said, I didn't see her for like 10 minutes. Then she came back. And they put the thing again. They said, Grandpa, it's chroma key. I said, yeah. She said, it has a green, something, a green background. Those who are editors know it. She says, it has a green background. I looked at her. I said, yeah. I said, I didn't tell you about green background. Oh, I just Googled it. She was 8 or 9 years old. 8 or 9 years old. Now she's doing her A-levels in England. But I just looked at it and I felt sorry for our children. Until the teacher tells you, you don't think you can know. Look, everybody that is here, go and train yourself. If everybody is exposed to the same thing, you have a problem. I mean, thank God they don't teach you properly in the school. Because there will be so many able to compete. But if you choose to equip yourself, this kind of seminar is to equip you. So that when you all meet at interview, at selection, you will shine. Are you following me? So don't think that what you learned in university or wherever is the end. No. It makes you able to learn. That's the essence of going to school. Makes you able to learn. So go learn.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. And you just answered the next question, even without me saying it. Is attending the Nigerian university really worth it? And the person puts Sakpa. I don't know why the person puts that. It's worth it. It's worth it. Because no knowledge is wasted, sincerely. No knowledge is wasted.
Okay, let me also, in addition to what they have said, when we are looking at the future of work or the world of work, we should understand that the fact that you live and school in wherever in Ibadan does not mean that this is where your competition lies. Understand that the fact that you school or live in Ibadan, your competition is global. So that should inform you that you need to equip yourself for global standard. So don't even equip yourself for, okay, I live in Ibadan, I want to work just in Ibadan. No, equip yourself for global standard. And there's something I usually say, there's this concept, benchmarking. You can also use it, like, okay, the career path you want to go into or the work you're doing. You can then look at globally, what are the skills required in this, for this job, for this role. So start equipping yourself now. Don't wait for anybody, because your competition is not local, your competition is global. The world is already a global village. So do benchmarking, as in research, make research. Even if you are still in school, the career path you want to go into, the kind of job you want to do, what do you even know about the job? Go and research. What skills do I need? What are those things that I need to do? Don't wait until you even graduate that, okay, I want to wait. Some people will wait, and I want to wait, and after NYSC, then I'll start researching now. Start knowing what is required of you from now. Don't wait until you now start looking for a job, and then you say, oh, I've submitted thousands of CV. Nobody is calling me. Call you for what? You've not really prepared yourself. So start preparing yourself for global standard, not just local standard.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you very much. We have like 2 more questions here before we round up. Said, are all the psychometric tests real? That's for our HR people. And do they actually measure what I can do? Yeah. So are they real, and do they really measure?
Yes. They are real. They are very, because they are behavioral tests. So they actually show your competencies and what you can actually do. So beyond your skill, beyond your knowledge, now we want to understand your attitude, your personality, because you are not just a machine that is doing a job. So you are bringing you are bringing your human, you are bringing your personality to the job. So all those tests enable the recruiter to understand the kind of personality you are, the kind of human that you are, beyond the knowledge and skill you have acquired. Behavioral characteristic is also important.
Thank you so very much. I think at this time, it's worth it if we put our hands together for our panelists. Wow, wow, wow. Let's do it with a standing ovation, please. Thank you so very much, sirs and ma'ams. We have really been enlightened and empowered. God bless you all. We have actually eaten so deep into the time, but I think we can create just a few minutes for the mentorship. Okay, yes. So the next thing in line. Okay, Pastor is coming.
So, sirs and ma'ams, thank you so very much. Before you leave for the mentorship interactions, we'd like to say thank you to you. So please, can I have the flags? You can sit. Thank you. To Kemilawa, thank you so much for, we appreciate you. Thank you. And I have for Maybell. Thank you so much, Maybell. Thank you. And to Pastor, because you are an administrator in education, but you're also teaching us God's word. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. So, has the place been set up, Brother Joshua? Okay. So, okay, we're using the first, this roll, the second one, the middle roll, and the third one. So please. Thank you. So please, can we just be up and standing? We're creating a platform for them to stay. So if you need to ask them any other question, one-on-one mentorship, just feel free. Sit. Each of them will sit in front, then you can just wait in line. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Bye.
Okay, so to make this go on, we have the HR persons here, and we have Pasomiwa Bambushe here. You know, he's an educational administrator, so if you have questions around furthering your education, you want to ask him about A-levels, how do these programs interact, so you can please come here so you can have engagement with him. And if you would like to ask the HR guys some questions around how your CV should look, what is the career path you can change to, and all that, anything HR related, Mabel and Kemi are here. So you can take the seat arrangement, ask them questions, have more one-on-one interactions. Thank you. And if you do not have any question, it's fine. You can just remain seated while we will get to you shortly. So again, academics, schooling abroad, interactions around education. Pastor Muiwa is here. For people who would like to do some HR counseling, you want to tell them about what is going on with you at work, they will be here to also speak and interact with you. So we have this to run for about 30 minutes thereabout, and then we'll say thank you to our panelists for stopping by.